You found her. You brought her back.
She let herself be found. There's a difference, hey, and you should know which one it was.
You dare speak to me like...
They told him the job was simple. Find the girl. Bring her back. Don't ask questions about why she left, or where she'd been, or what the queen would do when she had her daughter back inside those white marble walls. Just find her, bring her, and collect what was promised. Darren had taken worse jobs for less money. He saddled his horse, asked for a description, and rode north. What they didn't tell him, what no one thought to mention or perhaps thought he wouldn't care about, was that the girl had run away on purpose. He found her on the fourth day, sheltering in the hollow of a collapsed stone bridge 20 miles from the border of the Blue Kin territory. She was small for her age, 12, maybe 13, with light blue skin and short hair the color of a shallow sea, and she was sitting cross-legged on a flat rock eating something she'd clearly foraged herself, with the calm competence of someone who'd been surviving outdoors long enough to stop being scared of it. She heard him coming and didn't run. She just watched him approach with a particular stillness of someone who had already decided how this encounter would go and was simply waiting for him to catch up. "You're the one they sent," she said. "I am," Darren said. He stopped a respectful distance away and didn't reach for her. "You're Lyrian. I know who I am." She looked him over with pale blue eyes that were older than her face. "You're human. Also aware. My mother sent a human." Something flickered across her expression. Not contempt, he thought. More like she was revising a calculation. She must be desperate. He sat down on a nearby rock, which seemed to surprise her. "She sent everyone else first. You evaded them all, apparently." "I know the paths," Lyrian said simply. "I grew up in those woods. Her soldiers didn't. So why didn't you run from me?" She looked at him steadily. "Because you sat down," she said. "Everyone else came at me running. You sat down." He didn't press her that first day. He made a fire, shared what he had in his pack, dried provisions, a small flask of something warm, and let the silence do the work. She was the one who spoke eventually, when the fire had burned to a comfortable low and the stars had come out thick above the open ruins. "She doesn't know me," Lyrian said. Darren kept his eyes on the fire. "Tell me. My mother is a queen. She knows how to rule a people. She knows how to command an army and hold a border and negotiate a treaty." The girl pulled her knees up to her chest. "She doesn't know what I eat for breakfast. She doesn't know I'm afraid of deep water. She doesn't know I taught myself to read the old star maps because no one else was going to teach me. Does she know you can survive 4 days alone in a border ruin?" Lyrian was quiet. "She does now," Darren said. Another silence. Then, "That's not the same as knowing me." "No," he agreed. "It isn't." He looked at her then, this small blue girl sitting in a collapsed bridge in the dark, who had outrun an entire palace guard because she was tired of being invisible in her own home. "Will you come back with me?" he asked. "Not because I'm telling you to. Because I'm asking." She looked at the stars for a long time. "Will she listen?" Lyrian asked. "If I come back and try to tell her, will she actually listen? Or will she just be relieved I'm safe and then go back to being the queen?" Darren thought about it honestly. "I don't know," he said. "But I'll be in the room. And if she doesn't listen, I'll say so." Lyrian looked at him. "You'd say that to a queen." "I've said worse to worse people." She almost smiled. Not quite, but almost. "You're strange for a human." "I've heard that," he said. The throne hall was exactly as Darren had imagined it, vast and white and gold and built to make you feel small before you even opened your mouth. The columns stretched up to a ceiling lost in shadow. The chandeliers burned like small captured suns. The court stood on both sides in long rows, watching with a careful blankness of people who had learned not to show reactions in public. And at the far end, the Queen. She was taller than he'd expected. Taller than most, blue-skinned and imposing in black and gold armor that wasn't ceremonial in the least. Her white dreadlocks moved slightly as she descended the steps of the dais when she saw her daughter. Her face was the face of a woman who had spent 5 days preparing to feel something and was now failing spectacularly to contain it. Darren stopped walking when they were still 20 feet from her. Lyrian stopped beside him. The Queen's eyes went to her daughter first, and the hardness in them, the queenly distance, fractured completely for just a moment before she pulled it back. Then she looked at Darren. "You found her," she said. "She let herself be found," he said. "There's a difference." The Queen's eyes narrowed slightly. Behind her, he heard the faint shift of guards, the quiet intake of breath from the court that meant he'd said something that wasn't said to queens. He didn't step back. "She left because she felt invisible," he said, steady and quiet, the same tone he'd used at the fire 4 nights ago. "She knows the star maps and she taught herself to survive alone and she outran your entire guard. She's not a child who needs to be brought home and watched more carefully. She's someone who needs to be known." Silence. Perfect, complete, the silence of a room full of people who have stopped breathing. The Queen looked at him for a long moment. Then she looked at Lyrian. And Lyrian, for her part, was looking at her mother. Not with the defiance she'd worn like armor in the ruins, but with something underneath it. Something younger and more painful than defiance. Something that wanted very badly to be wrong about the distance between them. The Queen descended the last step. She didn't reach for her daughter the way you reach for something you've recovered. She reached for her the way you reach for something you've only just realized you've been holding wrong all along. Carefully, like you're asking permission. Lyrian let her. It wasn't a resolution. It wasn't a fixed thing. There were years of distance between them that wouldn't close in a throne room in front of the court. But it was a beginning. The kind of beginning that can only happen when someone is honest enough to name what's wrong before the reunion makes everyone pretend nothing was. Darren stepped back quietly and let them have it.